back, everyone. Hi, I'm Angie with Harmony Yoga, and we're going to be working through some nice sun salutations today, but we're going to slow it down just a bit. So taking in some nice deep stretch aspects of that really beautiful flow, slowing it down just a little bit. So for those of you that are beginners, giving yourself an opportunity to really understand your body, get a feel for how the movement is. And then for those of you who are already very familiar with Surya Namaskar or sun salutations, maybe just taking some time to slow it down, to really feel the essence of your body as you move in between postures and really take in some awareness of alignment. So before we start our class, if you are new to yoga, and props are usually advisable if you have just started yoga, it's a good thing to do. And never feel that props are a crutch. Props are a really, really important part of your practice because they really help you to move deeper into your practice. So think of it as just an additional thing that you would use in your practice to really get into some of those postures a little bit deeper. So actually a really good thing. So if you have blocks at home, great. You can go ahead and grab your blocks and bring them to your mat. If you don't have blocks, things that can work instead of blocks are books stacked up, Tupperware stacked to elevate. So there's a lot of things you can be creative to create the effect of blocks. Another thing too, also, if you have any sensitivity in your knees or any limbs in part of your body, you can add a blanket just to add a little extra comfort or support to those parts of your body. So a couple things to have before you start your practice. You may or may not use them, but it's nice to have those things available if you think you might need them. So go ahead and take a few moments. If you think that you'd like to add a blanket or a couple of blocks or something to work instead of blocks, you can go ahead and grab those and meet me back on your mat when you're ready. And as you're finding those things in your practice, I'm just going to go ahead and start today's practice with a reading. And this is my Soul to Soul book. This is a really nice book. I oftentimes read from this to my classes just because it really adds a nice element of perception. Maybe it allows you to go a little bit deeper within or just gives you some reflection. So starting today's practice with a reading. This too shall pass. Yoga has allowed me to slow down mentally. I was always rushing. My mind was always someplace else, and I was missing it all. The play of light on the trees, a spider web wet with dew, the subtle messages from within. More and more now, I can simply be what is. I'm happier and healthier. I'm a better mother to my children. When they spill the milk or come to me crying, my first thought is, this too shall pass. More and more, everything is becoming a show to me, a show in technicolor. Everything passes, and what remains of former times, what remains of life is the spiritual. In everything we do, the claim of the absolute is unchanging. So let's go ahead and start our practice day in child's pose. So in child's pose, we come to the mat. You can put some cushion underneath the knees. Again, if you have any sensitivity underneath your knees. Big toes come together. The knees can be close together, wide apart, or somewhere in the middle. So it's about finding that just right space for your body. So really taking time here, whether you're new to yoga or you've been practicing for a long time, always reminding yourself that it is your practice. If you are working through injuries, modify, make adjustments for those injuries, and know that it is your practice. So really honoring the essence of your body and coming to the mat knowing that this is all about you. I'm only here as your guide to offer you suggestions. If those suggestions don't work, then come into one that does work well for you. That being said, we'll start with child's pose. Big toes come together. Again, knees close together, wide apart or somewhere in the middle. And then just begin to allow the sit bones to release toward the heels. And we'll take a few moments here, just allowing this feeling to settle into the body. You need to move or adjust. And then in time, you can begin to release the chin or the forehead to your mat. We'll start with an active child's pose by extending the arms out in front. And then after you take a few cleansing breaths here, you can stay here with active child's pose. You can bring your arms to your side bodies, coming into surrendering child's pose. You can also stack your hands and rest your forehead on your stacked hands. You can also place your hands in prayer position behind the back of the head. So know that you do have a lot of options with child's pose. So trying one or all of those and then settling into one space that feels best to you today. Just going to take a few moments to breathe into the body, and we're going to start with just natural breathing. So where is your breath today? Taking a moment of reflection and just observing how your breath is moving at this moment.
And as you come into this moment, we begin to let go of the past. We bring ourselves into the present moment. We take a glimpse of a bright and beautiful new future. But for this practice, we're going to stay grounded in the moment. So this practice will be a very grounding practice. And as you continue to follow the ebb and flow of your breath, I want you to consciously begin to allow your breath to drop a little deeper into the base of the lungs. As you inhale, begin to expand the breath from side to side, front to back, top to bottom. Draw the breath upward to the heart space. Pause and reflect in heart space, love, kindness, and compassion for yourself and others. And as you release the breath, I want you to share that sensibility, that love, kindness, and compassion with the world. And again, we breathe, feeling the lungs expand from side to side, front to back, top to bottom. Drawing the breath upward through the body, maybe reaching the base of the throat. Pausing for a bit of breath retention and audibly or silently release the breath, let it go. I want you to move independently through a few more rounds of deeper belly breathing, feeling the ebb and flow of breath through the body. And as you continue to move into belly breathing, moving into the parasympathetic nervous system, which is rest and digest. So letting our minds relax, our bodies relax, our muscles relax, and prepare for a nice fluid movement. We'll take one more breath here. And then on your next inhale, if you'd like to create an intention for your practice, an intention is anything meaningful to you. It could be a group of words, a single word, person, place, or thing. Something for you to focus on as you move through your practice if your mind begins to wander. So keeping that focus right where it needs to be, right on yourself. We'll take one more big, beautiful breath at heart space. And as you release the breath, I want you to share that positivity with the world. Take one more breath here. And let that next inhale carry you back to center. We find ourselves on our mat in table position. And as we come into table position, take a moment here and just begin to release. So we've been in child's pose for just a few rounds of breath, and we're just going to begin to release the body. So taking some time to just move. We'll come back into table position with the wrists directly underneath the shoulders, the knees about hip distance apart, directly underneath the hips. And you begin to move into some cat and cow. So as you begin to breathe, I want you to breathe into the lower abdominals and allow the breath to travel the length of the spine, one vertebra at a time. Hollow out the belly as you gaze between the hands. Allow the crown to release toward the earth. You feel that really, really nice press with your hands. One more inhale, one more exhale. And as you inhale, begin to draw the chest through the gate of the shoulders, allowing the belly to release toward the earth. Head and neck move with the spine. I'm going to pause here again and just begin to feel the differences between these two postures. Again, we'll inhale through the lower abdominals, sending the breath all the way up through the spine, hollowing out the belly, rounding the spine, and inhale, direct the chest through the gate of the shoulders. Go ahead and move between these two different postures, and I don't want you to rush through this. I want you to take some time to really feel the movement of breath through the spine, really feel the articulation and movement of the spine. Got about 3 more rounds of breath here just to wake up our bodies, feel the movement through the spine. And last one here. And we bring it right back into neutral spine. Good. We're going to go ahead and step back with the right foot, pressing the heel away from the body and feeling the length along the back line of the leg. Go ahead and drop that right hip to square your hips to the front of your mat. I'm going to pause here, feel that opening in the body, and then we'll go ahead and raise that back leg to hip height, pressing out through the heel. Toes are pointing down. Yep. And then you can stay here, or you can begin to draw the left arm out, right leg draws back. Draw in through the lower abdominals to engage the core. So don't let the belly stay here. Keep a nice, strong core. We're going to inhale to lengthen long. And as you exhale, we'll draw the elbow toward the knee, rounding under the body. Inhale, lengthen long. Exhale, round it out. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, round. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, round. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, round. One more time. Inhale, lengthen, and really extend out. Really find some nice lengthening in the spine. Let the crown draw away from the tailbone. Go ahead and release the left hand. Drop that right leg down. Go ahead and create just a little bit of movement here, opening up through the back line of the leg, taking that movement into the calf muscles, feeling the opening of the body.
We're going to bring this motion to stillness. We're going to begin to walk the left hand underneath the chin, and we're going to rotate to the right side of our mat, coming into supported side plank. We're going to extend out from fingertip to fingertip, really opening up the heart space. You can stay here, opening and expanding, or you can begin to press out, raise that back leg from the hip and begin to press out through the heel. Stay here once again. We're coming into a quad stretch by bending the knee and reaching for the ankle, looking over your back shoulder. Last 3, last 2, and last 1. Mindfully release, and we rotate back to face the mat one more time. Create just a little bit more movement, allowing the energy to move through the back line of the leg. Come back to center. We brought both knees together, and this time stepping back with the left leg, pressing out to the back heel and dropping that left hip slightly to square your hips to the front of your mat. Stay here for a moment or two, and then go ahead and raise that left leg to hip height, pressing out through the heel, the ball on the heel, keeping that leg nice and active. Draw into the lower abdominal slightly to engage the core, so don't let the belly sag. Keep the body nice and strong. And then we'll go ahead and extend out with the right arm. We have right arm, left leg, extending the body nice and long. Pause here. Just begin to feel the spine lengthen, reaching through the fingers and out through the heel of the foot. Inhale, and as you exhale, round elbow to knee or to chin. Inhale, lengthen long. Exhale, round it out. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, round. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, round. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, round. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, round. One more time here. And really extend out through the body, lengthen long. Create space between the crown and the tailbone. And then go ahead and release your right hand down. Drop the left leg down. And create just a little bit of movement. Bring some energy and some openness into the calf muscle and up the back line of the leg. Go ahead and bring this movement to stillness. We'll center now the right hand underneath the chin, and as you exhale, rotate to the left side of your mat, coming into that same supported side plank on the other side, reaching out from fingertip to fingertip, opening up the heart. From here, you can stay here or extend out through the leg, bringing it to hip height, pressing out through the heel. Stay here once again, or bend the knee and reach for the ankle, coming into that nice quad stretch on the other side, looking over your back shoulder as you're able. Last 3, last 2, and last 1. We'll release and rotate back to face the mat once again and create just a little bit of movement. Go ahead and come back to stillness, coming back into table. And from table position, we'll begin to move into Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Begin to walk your fingers slightly forward, rolling the fingertips to the palms of the hands, so creating a nice suction base. Begin to press the ring and the thumb into your mat, engaging the muscles of the arms as you draw energy up through the arms and into the shoulders, and allowing the shoulders to roll back and down. So really feeling that movement up through the arms to prepare. Tuck your toes, bend your knees, and when you're ready, send the sit bones high for down dog. As we come into dog, we come into mobile dog. And this is your opportunity to find some movement, to tread through the feet. You can move between plank and dog. You can begin to extend a leg up, coming into three-legged dog. And you can do that on both sides if that feels good. Really get a nice opening. You can even bring it into more movement, more opening, stacking the hips if that feels good. You can also begin to bring it into some hip circles. So you have a lot of options here. We're going to be here for just a few more rounds of breath, just finding that freedom to move in our bodies. And then we'll go ahead and begin to bring this back to stillness. Feet are set about hip distance apart, pressing the palms into the mat, allowing the shoulder blades to widen and roll back and down. Your gaze is down. Crown releases toward the earth. Sit bones reaching high to the sky, and in time allowing those heels to release toward your mat. And they may not get there, that's okay. It's just the direction of movement today. We'll take one more breath here, and then go ahead, mindfully step forward to meet your hands at the front of your mat, coming into Ardha Uttanasana, half forward fold. And as we come into Ardha Uttanasana, you can go ahead and place your hands on your shins or your quads. You can start there, and if you're more flexible, you can certainly bring your hands all the way down. But don't feel that that's the objective today. So what we're really looking for is a nice long spine with the shoulder blades rolling back and down. The gaze is down. There's space between the crown and the tailbone, so like that. The chest draws to the gate of the shoulders. and we'll keep creating a neutral spine. So a neutral spine is the spine in its natural state. Got one more round of breath here, and you really feel that opening in the hamstrings, so letting the back line of the legs release. And then inhale, exhale, deepen forward fold. So really allowing the torso to melt over the legs. Now, if this is quite a strong stretch for you, you can bend the knees, coming into some more decompression for the spine. At this point, you can grab onto opposite elbows. You can begin to shake your head in both directions, releasing the muscles of the head, neck, and shoulders. You can also wrap your hands around the back of the legs, and in time, you can begin to straighten out your legs, coming into more opening the hamstrings. And you can also walk your hands under your feet for a girl leg. So you've got a lot of options. I want you to go ahead and come into the space that feels best for you today. We're going to hang out here for just a bit, giving ourselves some time to open our bodies. Rocking forward and backward feels pretty good right now for me, so I'm going to kind of find some movement. We've got about 3 to 5 more rounds of breath here. Last 3, last 2, and last breath. Go ahead and bend the knees if they're not already bent. Bring the arms to the side. We'll take a nice big breath as we draw the arms up overhead. Palms come together. Exhale, release, heart space. Go ahead and take a moment here. We'll come back to the intention and breathe. Now at this point, we're going to begin to move into some sun salutations. So if you feel that you might need blocks or support, go ahead and set those in front of your mat and have those available for you if you need them. And also, as we move up and down on our mat, if you feel that you need some support for the knees, you can have a blanket on your mat so you can come down for support if you need it. So again, having those things you need. Take 3 shoulder rolls back and down. Let those shoulders melt down your back. Reach the fingertips toward the earth and rotate the palms outward. Good. Slight bend to the knees. We'll inhale, arms up overhead. Palms come together. Exhale, release, heart space. From heart space, inhale up to the midline. As you exhale, dive forward, come forward. Ardha Uttanasana, half forward fold. Inhale, exhale, deepen forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Hands root on either side of the feet, and go ahead and step it back into plank pose. As we come into plank pose, wrists directly underneath the shoulders. Shoulders are engaged, but not locking out the joints. So take a slight bend to the elbows if you need to. Draw the heels away from the body. So really feel the engagement of the core. The core is really strong. Spine and core work together. And for this first set, we're going to go ahead and do a modified variation. So go ahead and drop to the knees. And then begin to bend the elbows, keeping the arms close to the side and lower all the way down to the belly. Moving into our next posture, Bhujangasana, Cobra pose. So placing the thumbs to the top of the ribs, allowing the shoulder blades to roll back and down. The elbows are over the wrists. We're going to create some space in the low back by walking the feet away from the body. Pressing the top of the feet into the mat. Engaging the quadricep muscles by drawing them away from the mat as well. And when you're ready, begin to inhale and lengthen long through the torso. So we're lengthening the body, so creating more space in between the vertebrae. So it's a lengthen, not a lift, as you move into Bhujangasana. So think of that, drawing the body longer when you come up into that lift. And because we're taking time in our sun salutations today, we're going to come into some more deep stretch variations. So holding our postures just a little bit longer than would be traditional for Surya Namaskar sun salutation. We'll take about 3 more rounds of breath here. Keep the breath flowing. Last 3, last 2, and last 1. We bring it right back down. Bend your knees and press yourself into table. From table position, we'll tuck the toes and send the sit bones high for down dog. Go ahead and take a few moments here and tread through the feet. Come back to stillness, find your posture, and then walk your feet forward toward your hands, coming back into Ardha Uttanasana, half forward fold. Inhale, exhale, deepen forward fold. Bend your knees and inhale the arms up overhead. Palms come together. Exhale, release, heart space. Inhale the hands up through the midline. As you exhale, dive forward, come forward. Ardha Uttanasana, half forward fold. Inhale, exhale, deepen forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, and go ahead and step it back into plank pose. Drawing the heels away from the body. Core is nice and strong. Drop to the knees. Inhale and exhale. Keep the arms close to the side, lower all the way down. Thumbs to the top of the ribs once again. Walking the feet away from the body. Elbows over the wrists. Engage the muscles of the quadriceps, drawing them away from the earth. And inhale, lengthen long, drawing the torso away from the body, so creating space. Shake your head no, nod your head yes, release. Got about 3 more rounds of breath here, just taking advantage of this posture
Again, you don't have to come into the full pose. Just come to where your body needs to today. Last 3, last 2, last one, all the way down, knees are bent, press your palms into the mat. Brings us right back into table. From table position, tuck the toes, send the sit bones high, down dog, and go ahead and find some movement. Come back to stillness, take a pause here, feel your spine lengthen, crown releases, and then begin to walk your feet toward your hands, coming back into Ardha Uttanasana. Half forward fold. Inhale, exhale, deepen forward fold, bend the knees. Inhale the arms up overhead, palms come together, exhale, release, heart space. So that was a modified variation of Surya Namaskar, Sun Salutation. We're going to go ahead and go through 2 more rounds, and we're going to amp it up just a bit. So coming into full form, and again, if for any reason full form doesn't work for you, then you can go ahead and do those modified variations, and you're still getting all the same benefits by doing the modifications. You're just being safe for your body. So safety is really important. Don't move yourself into a point you're not ready for. All right, let's go ahead and go into our second set. Shoulders roll back and down. Reach the fingertips toward the earth. Rotate the palms outward. Slight bend to the knees. Inhale, the arms move up overhead. Palms come together. Exhale, release, heart space. From heart space, inhale up to the midline. As you exhale, dive forward, come forward. Ardha Uttanasana, half forward fold. Inhale, exhale, deepen forward fold. Inhale, halfway lifts. Root your hands and step it back into plank pose. Draw the heels away from the body. We're going to come down through Chaturanga. So with Chaturanga, as you lower down, you're bending the elbows, the arms stay close to your side, and ideally your chest touches first. If the belly touches first, drop to the knees. That's putting undue pressure and strain on your back. We don't want that. We want to be strong in our practice. So when you're ready, rolling forward on the toes, bend the elbows, arms stay close to the side. We lower all the way down and chest touches first. Thumbs move to the top of the ribs, shoulder blades rolling back and down, creating space in the low back. And when you're ready, inhale, lengthen long. Now, as we come into more spinal strengthening, if you feel you have a little bit more, you can begin to bring your hands up off your mat, seeing if you can maintain that. And then if you feel like, I've got a little bit more to give, you can press your palms slightly into your mat and begin to straighten out through the arms. Shoulder blades are rolling back and down. So coming into a little bit more extension, and go ahead and lower all the way down. And then from here, either from the knees or from the toes, pushing up through Chaturanga, into plank, drawing the sit bones up and back, down dog, and go ahead and find some movement once again. Come back to stillness, find your posture, and then when you're ready, go ahead and step your feet forward to meet your hands. Ardha Uttanasana, half forward fold. Inhale, exhale, deepen forward fold, bend the knees. Inhale, the arms move up overhead, palms come together, exhale, release, heart space. Inhale the hands up through the midline. As you exhale, dive forward, come forward. Ardha Uttanasana, half forward fold. Inhale, exhale, deepen forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, root your hands and step it back into plank pose. Draw the heels away from the body, core is strong. Now as we come into this next step, we're going to take it into upward facing dog. So if you feel like you're feeling pretty strong in your practice and you want to begin to add more, you can begin to come along with this, or you can do any of those other previous variations. So if you are coming in up dog, we roll forward on the toes, bend the elbows, the chest touches down, and then it scoops through the gate of the shoulders, drawing the chest through the gate of the shoulders. So again, we're coming into a little bit more openness, and breathe. So really allowing yourself to settle into this posture. We're going to hold here for just another breath or two, and then we're going to roll on the toes, draw in through the lower abdominals, and then send those sit bones high, coming into downward facing dog. Go ahead and tread through the feet, walk it out, come back into down dog, and then when you're ready, walk the feet forward to meet the hands, Ardha Uttanasana, half forward fold. And inhale, exhale, deepen forward fold. Bend your knees, inhale the arms up overhead, palms come together, exhale, release, heart space. From heart space, inhale up to the midline. As you exhale, release the palms, dive forward, come forward. Ardha Uttanasana, half forward fold. Inhale, exhale, deepen forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, root your hands, step it back, plank pose. Again, trying to maintain the strength and integrity of your body, and either from any of those previous modifications, or we roll forward on the toes, bend the elbows, arms stay close, wide chest scoops to the gate of the shoulders. We drop to the top of the feet, shoulder blades are rolling back and down, heart space shines. Roll on the toes, draw out through the sit bones move up and back, down dog. Go ahead and tread it out, find a nice neutral spine here, and breathe.
Go ahead and step forward and meet your hands, Ardha Uttanasana, half forward fold. Inhale, exhale, deepen forward fold, bend your knees, arms look up overhead, palms come together, exhale, release, heart space. We'll go ahead and take a moment here and breathe. If you need to take a water break, you can certainly take a water break right now. So we've moved through a couple variations of Surya Namaskar, Sun Salutations, and we're going to just continue on with some fluid movement. So joining me when you're ready, we're going to come back to the front of our mat and then have your blocks available. You may find that you need them as we move into more of this practice. So coming into a warrior series, we're going to be using some warrior with this. Now, warrior posture, Virabhadrasana 1, 2, and 3, very empowering, very strong, feeling the strength of our own bodies because a warrior is very strong. So we're going to feel strong in our own minds, our own bodies today. So when you're ready, once again, coming to the front of your mat, and then just take a moment here. We're going to start our practice with coming into chair pose, Utkatasana. So in this pose, ideally practice with the heels and toes touching, but if for any reason that causes any problem with your body, then go ahead and keep a space as you need to. For those of you coming into the full pose, you can begin to bring heels and toes touching, shoulders roll back and down, fingertips reach toward the earth, palms rotate outward. Take a slight bend to the knees, inhale, the arms move up overhead. As you exhale, begin to bend the ankles, knees, and hips, coming into Utkatasana chair. So with the placement of the arms, it can be up overhead, they can be out in front of the body. So I want you to find that just right placement for you. Take a peek down to see if you can see your toes, and in time, work toward that. Sit bones draw away from the body, spine is nice and neutral. Good. Go ahead and sit a little deeper in your chairs. Palms come to heart space, and we sit a little deeper. Inhale, exhale, twist to the right. Inhale brings us back to center. As you exhale, twist to the left. Inhale brings us back to center, stepping back with the right foot, coming into Virabhadrasana 1, Warrior 1. Now in this pose, it's practiced several different ways, especially with the foot placement, but I like to place the foot at about a 45-degree angle so that it's moving more toward forward, about a heel-to-heel alignment. This allows the hips to square with the front of the mat. So that's part of the, as we move into Virabhadrasana 1, our hips are more squaring with the front of our mat. So the way to get there is to allow that hip to rotate toward the front of your mat, and we do that by creating about a 45-degree with that back leg. Now, if you've been practicing a different way, or maybe this isn't your pose, again, I want you to come into your pose. We're going to start here with the hands on the hips and beginning to feel the hips move and square toward the front of our mat. Good. And find that in our bodies. We're going to release the hands behind the body, interlacing the palms and drawing the palms together. Shoulder blades draw together, heart space opens. So we're preparing our bodies for this space. Good. And then mindfully release, draw the arms up overhead. You can have a nice wide V. You can interlace your hands and take a steeple grip. You can also begin to bring your gaze upward. Good. And then from here, we're just going to begin to bring this forward, coming into Virabhadrasana 3, Warrior 3. Now in Warrior 3, I'm running into the wall, but that's okay. Your gaze is down. The leg is extended out from the hip, toes are pointing down. You're nice and strong in this pose. Take a couple rounds of breath here. And then as we begin to release it down, dropping that back foot down, and then just taking a little wider stance, we're going to come into heel to arch alignment. The back foot now is moving slightly forward, and we have about a heel to arch alignment. We're going to begin to extend the arms out, reaching from fingertip to fingertip. Torso is right in the midline. Good, and breathe. So really feeling that nice opening in the hips, feeling strong in our bodies, feet are rooted down, even distribution between the front and the back foot. Flip the top arm up, reach forward, draw back, reverse warrior, opening up your heart. As you inhale, bring it back to center, bend the elbow and lightly rest on the knee. Inhale the top arm up overhead, and if you feel open, extending it alongside the body, opening up into extended side angle. Inhale brings us back to center, and we go ahead and release, draw both feet forward. Inhale the arms up overhead, and as you exhale, draw the palms together, draw the shoulder blades together. Inhale draws the hands back to heart space, hands to the hips, and go ahead and rotate back to face the front of your mat. Slight bend to the knee and go ahead and step it forward. Inhale the arms up overhead, palms come together, exhale, release, heart space. We're going to go ahead and move that through a second side. So when you're ready, inhale the hands up through the midline, and as you exhale, release the arms to the side. Reach the fingertips toward the earth, rotate the palms outward, step the feet, heels, and toes touching unless you have any restrictions for doing that. Slight bend to the knees, inhale the arms up overhead, Palms come together, exhale, release, heart space. From heart space, inhale up the midline, and as you exhale, bend the ankles, knees, and hips, Utkatasana chair. Draw the sit bones back. Good. Neutral spine. Arms can be up overhead or out in front. I want you to find that just right placement. And then inhale, exhale, sit a little deeper in your chair. This time we'll be twisting to the left. Inhale, exhale, twist to the left. And once you're here, if you want to begin to open up through the heart, you can release the hands and open up the heart. Inhale brings us back to center, and as you exhale, twist to the right. Again, if you want that openness, that expansion, you can release the hands. Inhale brings us back to center, and this time step it back with the left foot coming into Virabhadrasana 1, Warrior 1 on the other side. And take a pause here and find just the right foot placement. Go ahead and place your hands on your hips. And we can move through a few bends and straights here as we prepare for this posture. Go ahead and come back into stillness. Hips are beginning to square with the front of your mat. And then go ahead and release your hands behind the body. Draw the palms together, draw the shoulder blades together. Draw the arms away from the body to open the heart. And breathe. Begin to bring your gaze to center, maybe bring it upward. And then we'll release the hands, drawing the arms up overhead, taking a nice wide V, or interlace the palms and taking a steeple grip, letting the shoulders melt down the back, and bringing your gaze upward. Keep that bend in the front knee, don't lose that. And we're going to begin to get light on the back foot as we begin to bring ourselves forward into Virabhadrasana 3, Warrior 3. Keep the toes pointing down as much as you're able. And then mindfully bend the front knee. We release, we bring it into Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2. Front knee is bent, about a knee to ankle alignment. Knee is tracking the second and third toe. Nice wide space in between the legs. And make sure the toe is not moving in, the knee is not moving in or out. So really opening up through the hips, extending out from fingertip to fingertip. Good. Torso right in the midline. And we're holding and we're breathing. So the top arm up, reach forward, draw back, reverse warrior, opening your heart. Inhale brings us back to center, bend the elbow. Bring the top arm up overhead and alongside the body. And breathe. Inhale brings us back to center. We come back into Virabhadrasana 2. Straightening out through the legs, drawing both feet forward. We come into a nice wide-legged space as we come into opening. Inhale the arms up overhead. As you exhale, release the hands behind the body. So drawing the palms together, drawing the shoulder blades together, reaching the arms away from the body. Inhale, bring your gaze up, and as you exhale, come forward and forward fold. Mindfully release the bound hands, placing your hands underneath the chin. And come into a nice twist, just release through the spine a bit. We're going to begin to walk the right hand underneath the chin. Inhale, and as you exhale, open up to the left. Inhale brings us back to center, placing the left hand down, and as you exhale, opening up to the right. And you got a couple more times, just getting that nice windshield wiper opening. And we'll do one more on each side. And bringing it back to center, over to the right. And just take that as much as you need to, wrapping your hand around the leg if that feels good. Coming into a nice deep stretch. Inhale walks us back to center, and we move to the other side. Inhale brings us back to center. Now as we come into more of a forward fold, you can take your blocks and stack them to bring the height up to you if the crown doesn't come all the way down to the earth. We have a couple options here. You can come into a nice forward fold as you come down. You can walk your arms back behind your body. And if today you're calling for an inverted state, you can begin to bring it into tripod here. So you have a couple options. For me right now, just coming into a calming forward fold sounds really good. So we've got about 5 rounds of breath. So for those of you that want to invert, you can come into tripod, and I'll demonstrate tripod on another YouTube video. So today, we're just going to be coming into a forward fold for those of you that are more advanced coming into tripod. Last 3, last 2, and last 1. Let's go ahead and bring it right back to center. We're going to rotate to the left side of our mat. We're coming into a high lunge. And step it back into plank. And we're going to come into full side plank this time. So this time we're going to begin to walk the right hand underneath the chin. And as you exhale, rotate to the left side of your mat, opening up your heart. Inhale brings us back to center, this time stepping the left hand underneath the chin and rotating to, the left side of your mat, sorry guys. So rotating to the left. Inhale brings us back to center. We come back into plank pose. And we're just do a couple more things just to open up through the body. We're gonna inhale and raise that right leg up. As you inhale, bend the knee and draw it toward the elbow. Do that 5 times. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Go ahead and extend it out and release. Left side, inhaling the left leg up. Point the toe directed away from your body. Bend the knee, and we have knee to elbow. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Go ahead and extend it out. Come back into plank. Drop the knees and release the hips toward the heels, coming into child's pose. Go ahead and rotate through the wrists. You can rock your head gently from side to side. We've got about 5 rounds of breath here. Last 3, last 2, and last 1. Let's go ahead and walk it right back to center. Go ahead and walk the legs out and extend your legs one at a time, coming into Dandasana staff pose. Let your shoulders roll back and down. Rest your palms alongside your hips. Raise your hips and then bring them back down. Do this a couple of times. Pressing evenly between the ball and the heel and opening up once again the back line of the leg. We're going to take this into Paschimottanasana, forward fold. We're going to do this mindfully as we breathe. As you inhale, create space. And as you exhale, walking the hands down the length of the legs. Now, when you get to this place in your body where you feel that gentle tug in your low back, it's letting you know your hamstrings have extended as much as they're going to today. So hamstrings and spine work together to create opening in the body. So once you feel that gentle opening or that gentle awakening or nudge in the body, go ahead and pause there for a moment. See if you have any more to give. And if that's your resting pace today, then that's okay. Taking a few moments here and just coming into a very calming forward fold. Last 3, last 2, and last 1. Let's walk it right back to center. We'll bend the knees and mindfully come down onto the back. Arms out in front, palms face each other. And as you exhale, rolling down on the spine, 1 vertebra at a time. Go ahead and bring the arms up overhead. Extend it nice and long with the fingers and the toes. Full body stretch, expanding your mind, expanding your body. Open everything up. And as you exhale, draw the knees into the body. Create a little bit of movement from side to side or front to back. Whatever feels really good right now. I'm going to go ahead and keep the knees up toward the body. We're going to begin to reach in between the thighs for either the ankles or the calves or wherever your hands get to. Just finding the openness in your body, coming into happy baby. Tailbone reaches toward the earth, 90-degree bend with the legs, soles of the feet reach up toward the ceiling. And just find a little bit of movement here if this feels good. And about 3 to 5 rounds of breath here. Just kind of let things release. We're coming to our mat, preparing for our Shavasana, but we're not quite there yet. And go ahead and release. Bring the soles of the feet down to the mat. And then we've got 2 postures to work on. You can do a double set of Setu Bandha bridge pose, or you can do a set of bridge and a set of wheel. So you've got your options here depending on how much you want to add to your practice. Or if you're ready just to bring it down to the mat, you can begin to continue closing your body and releasing through any type of movement. For those of you, again, who want to add more, we'll start with a set of Setu Bandha bridge pose and we'll move it into wheel in just a moment. So when you're ready, walk the feet closer toward the body. Feet are about hip distance apart, arms resting at your side, fingertips reach away, shoulders are rolling back and down. Inhale, and as you exhale, draw the flat of the back toward the mat, and then begin to draw the knees away from the body. Begin to walk one shoulder and then the other underneath the body. You can even interlace the palms. Begin to draw the chest away from the body, or toward the chin, so opening it through the heart space. We've got, again, about 3 to 5 rounds of breath here. Just coming into this natural state of stillness. And as you come into the space, breathe deeply into the body. Last 3, last 2, and last 1. Gently allow the shoulders to come back out to your sides.
We'll rest the arms at our side. Now for those of you who want to come into a second set of bridge, you can certainly begin to move into there. And if you want to bring it into a restorative bridge, you can place a block underneath a flat space, the low part of the back, between the triangular space between the hip bones and the tailbone. So that's an option if you choose to move into a supported bridge. The other option, if you want to have a little bit more energizing and releasing, you begin to bend the elbows and place the fingertips toward the body. Now, if you've never come into wheel pose, you can take a moment and watch me demonstrate. If you feel that this is a right part of your practice, then you can move on. If you feel that you need a little bit of an assist, or maybe wait until you have an actual person helping you with it, you have that option too. So maybe take a moment here if you haven't done this posture before and watch. So we'll begin to bend the elbows, and the elbows are resting over the fingertips as the fingertips reach toward the body. You'll begin to bend your knees and press the soles of your feet into the mat. With the next inhale, draw the knees away from the body and begin to bring yourself off the mat. So we come into wheel pose. So really, really nice at opening the heart. It really is very energizing. I'm just going to hang out here for just a couple rounds of breath. And then mindfully, as you come down, rolling down exactly the way you came into it, coming back onto the back. And then to come out of a strong back bend, twists are really good at kind of releasing that. So coming into, even though the impulse might be to draw the knees toward the body, sometimes just keeping a side-to-side motion or twisting is a nice way to come out of a strong back bend. So a few more rounds of breath here. And then when you've released your body as much as you need to, begin to bring this on into Shavasana. So Shavasana traditionally practiced on the back, shoulders rolling back and down, fingertips rolling outward, toes rolling outward, heart space opens. Wiggle through the fingers, wiggle through the toes, release any residual energy. Begin to allow the eyes to soften and close. We come back to the content and the quality of the breath. So just observing your breath right now, letting your breath begin to slow and deepen. Let it move a little deeper into the base of the lungs. And audibly or silently release the breath, let it go. And then begin to take a moment here. Allow the soles of the feet to relax. Moving your awareness into the ankles, the shins, the calves. Moving your awareness into the knees, the quadriceps, the hips, the torso and spine. Bring your awareness into the shoulders and let the awareness move down the shoulders and out through the fingertips. Stop making noise. Bring your awareness into your neck and allow the muscles of the neck energetically massage the muscles of the neck. Bring your awareness into the scalp to the crown of the head. Begin to soften the forehead, relax the orbital sockets of the eyes, relax the jaw, and let the tongue rest naturally in the palate. As you breathe, breathe wholly from the toes all the way up to the crown of the head. Let everything relax. As you inhale, creating space, and as you exhale, find that beautiful release, surrender, and let go. Inhale deep, and release, surrender, and let go. So you take one more big, beautiful breath here, and then sigh that breath out, knowing that you have arrived in the most beautiful, perfect space, Shavasana. Now you can stay here for as long as you need to. This is a space that you created for your body. I hope that you've enjoyed today's Vinyasa. This is Angie with Harmony Yoga. From my heart to yours, yogis. Namaste.